Boston Celtics superstar Jayson Tatum has finally spoken out this offseason. We have an article with plenty of quotes going over how Jayson Tatum feels for the Celtics in the upcoming season this year, going over how he felt with the Jaylen Brown contract, how he feels with the departure of Marcus Smart, Joe Mazzulla comments in the offseason, and also looking at his future with the Boston Celtics as he'd like to cement himself as a Celtic great. So welcome back to Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and we appreciate all the support that you guys have showed us. We've actually been rising really well, and we'd like to just say that for what we notice is that 95% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you are new to the Celtics Digest channel and you enjoy our content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get to a goal of 100 subscribers, so if you can help us get us there, that would be really, really helpful. But let's get into the topic at hand today, which is Jayson Tatum telling his story this offseason. So Jayson Tatum this offseason has really been quiet, hasn't really had that many rumblings. We've heard a lot of rumblings around Kristaps Porzingis with the injury, Jaylen Brown with his contract, but Jayson Tatum has just been quietly working out and doing his thing for the Boston Celtics. We've had some rumors that he's been trying to recruit Damian Lillard earlier on, but I think that Jayson Tatum has been trying to just enjoy his summer and maintain the relationships that he has on the Boston Celtics, and as we can see, Jayson Tatum really wants to extend that and continue to play with the Celtics, as we can see from this article written by Jeff Goodman from The Messenger. He went into detail about how Jayson Tatum feels that he can be one of the all-time Celtics greats and wants to be sitting atop the Mount Rushmore of Celtic greats. As you can see in this quote here, he said he'd love to be on top of the Mount Rushmore with the Celtics. Bird, Russell, Paul Pierce, and those guys, they paved the way. The one thing that these guys have is chips. I have to get on the top of the mountain to even be considered as one of these guys. I want to be an all-time great. I want to be known as a winner, and I believe I will be. And personally, I agree with Jayson Tatum. The Celtics, being led by Jayson Tatum, have looked great in the past couple years. Obviously, we've seen some flukes last year with his injury. He kind of sold us in Game 7, and the year before that, the inexperience on the bench and not them being in the finals. But this team looks like they can actually push for championship titles and actually be there, and Jayson Tatum wants to be the main focal point on that for a championship team, and I love that he's trying to say that he wants to do this for the Celtics and be one of the greats. He obviously is chasing Banner 18. He really wants to help out the legacy of the Celtics, and he wants to cement himself as one of the greats for a historic franchise, so that's all you want to be looking at for your superstar player. Now I'm looking at Jayson Tatum's comments about Coach Mazzulla. He had some comments talking about last season, going into detail about how people thought that Mazzulla was outcoached by Erik Spoelstra. As you can see, the Celtics obviously beat the Hawks, and they beat the Sixers, and then when they got to the Heat, many people felt that Erik Spoelstra had outcoached Joe Mazzulla as it was his first year. But Tatum thinks and doesn't want to hear that. He said he's going to put all the criticism on his shoulders, saying that he thinks it's unfair. I don't know what more Joe could have done, Tatum said. He wasn't out there turning the ball over and missing free throws. That was us. So as you can see, Jayson Tatum wants to take full responsibility of what happened and not put the blame on a coach who was just thrown into a starting job 20 games before the start of the season. And I love the accountability and credibility that Jayson Tatum is taking here. As you can see, we want our leader to be a strong, vocal guy. And if he can take this accountability and credibility and put it on his shoulders, it can show us that in the locker room, he's definitely doing the same type of things when it comes to winning games and wanting to actually be a team player. If he's wanting to take the accountability for the coaching problem, he's definitely going to be taking accountability when people are questioning his shot selection or questioning how he's going to be doing in games. So it's really hard and really great to see that our leader is taking control of this. But Tatum has also focused that people haven't really seen him as the leader that they want him to be, and that might be not a problem because Tatum doesn't want to be that type of leader. As Tatum says, he says that he's never going to be a Kevin Garnett. As much as people want me to be, that's not who I am. The way I lead, the public may not ever see what I do. What I need is to make sure my voice is heard and I do it in my own way. I'm not going to be out there jumping up and down, screaming. That's just not my personality. As much as people want to talk about it and want me to be that, I'm not changing who I am. I lead in my own way. When I talk, everybody in that organization is going to listen, and whatever I say is for the betterment of the team, and my teammates know that. And that's great to hear. Again, as a Celtics fan, you obviously want your best players to be commanding the locker room, making sure that they're accountable for what they're doing and leading this team in the best direction. And Jayson Tatum is doing that by taking this accountability and credibility in these quotes. And Jayson Tatum, we know, is regarded as one of the best players in the NBA, but a lot of people have questioned is he one of those top guys that can be the number one guy to lead? I know that obviously Jaylen Brown being there kind of looks like a 1A, 1B situation. A lot of people have questioned that. But Jayson Tatum, I think, is taking everything he can in his responsibility to make sure that the Celtics are led by him and led by a winner, and that is great as a Celtics fan. Now, looking at what he had to say about Marcus Smart, he said that he did miss Marcus Smart, and he's for sure going to miss him. He was his teammate for 6 years, and they've been through it all. We've had good moments together. We've had bad moments together. He's somebody that I wish I was going to be my teammate forever. And honestly, I felt that when Jayson Tatum really said that, as I'm a huge Marcus Smart fan, and he was one of the main reasons that I love this grit and grind Celtics team, as he'd always be diving on the ball for loose balls or taking the charges when the Celtics needed them, and he was always there just giving it his all on the defensive side of the floor. And with the Celtics, we haven't really seen that with anybody else. Obviously, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum have taken some of that responsibility, but with Smart gone, they're going to have to actually unleash that defensibility and put all that and harness it into one and put it on the floor. And if the Celtics can do that with Tatum and have that intensity for diving for loose balls, taking the charges when they need to, getting in the guy's head and messing around with him a little bit just to make sure that you can get the dub, I think the Celtics will be chilling going on into the next season. We also got some more quotes from Jayson Tatum to talk about. Jayson Tatum, when he talks about him and Jaylen Brown, he says he's still 25 and he'll be 27 in 2 months. We're far from perfect. We won't ever get the credit we deserve until we actually win a championship. That is the ultimate goal, but you can't bypass the things we've accomplished in 6 years. We've been teammates at a very young age. We've been to the playoffs every single year. We've gotten better. Yes, it does take some time to figure it out how we can be as special as we can be and how we can coexist and do it together. I know everybody says they'll take turns. I feel we got to a place where we're looking to feed off each other, playing very well. And that makes me, again, very happy as a Celtics fan to see that Tatum is recognizing that, yes, he has come up short in these playoff experiences with Jaylen Brown. And yes, people have doubted him and Jaylen Brown for working together and wanting to stick together. But he's still going to persevere. He's still going to push through, and he's going to prove the haters wrong. I know I've seen numerous quotes in the past years where he said that they think that we can't do this together. We're going to prove them wrong. And I truly see that he will want to change this. And when he talked about Jaylen Brown's contract in the article, he mentioned that he was very happy for Jaylen Brown and he didn't want to over-exaggerate and show it to him that much, but he wanted to make sure that he knew that he was happy for him and that he told his family that these circumstances, yes, the money's always going to go up, but you got to take it for granted and always be happy where you come from. And Jaylen Brown, being the humble guy he is, I think he's actually going to appreciate that and take the wise words from Tatum and use that to hopefully fuel together to combine to win a championship. Obviously, the Celtics are still growing, and these players are still getting better. They might be in their primes, but they're going to continue to be in their primes for a little bit longer, and the Celtics will have times and years where they will be pushing for this ring. So even though the haters are counting out on Tatum, they were counting on him at a very young age, and I think that the Celtics can still prove these haters wrong by putting these two together and actually winning a championship in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, when you look at Jayson Tatum talking about his love for Boston and how he wants to remain a Celtic for life, he talks about this. Just recently, I started to feel the connection with Boston, Tatum says. I've spent my adult life here. My son has grown up here. I've grown up here. I've accomplished so many things. It's happened so fast, and Boston has played such an intricate part in life. I just feel like I relate a lot more in these last 2 years. At first, it was like I live here, but I'm from St. Louis. I'm a St. Louis kid. Now I'm part of Boston. I really feel a connection with the city and the people of Boston. And he says, you never know what can happen, but I love playing for the Celtics, he says. I figured out my space in the city and I've grown to really enjoy it. I love the fans. It would really be hard to leave this place. And that is amazing, as Jayson Tatum obviously wants to ensure that he wants to be on the Celtics Mount Rushmore, so that means he wants to stay with the city and be with us forever. We've heard this in the past with guys like Kyrie Irving in free agency, but it's kind of different with Jayson Tatum when you have a guy who you've drafted and actually shown that you want to take him and use him as your focal point for your franchise. And I think Tatum has appreciated what Boston has done for his family, for his son, and what they've done for him ultimately, creating all these great atmospheres for outside of basketball and inside of basketball, with bringing him good teammates, giving him good coaches. He has one of the best GMs in the NBA as well to bring him in talent. They just went out and got Kristaps Porzingis. Yes, they had to lose Marcus Smart, but they're always looking to improve this team. And as an NBA player, you always want to see your team always looking to help you improve, to help you win, so that you can improve your legacy. And by the Celtics doing that, I think Tatum's actually realized that this city actually cares for him, and he actually wants to represent it and put us on the map and actually bring us home banner 18. So Jayson Tatum said his words, and they were honestly great. I'm super happy that we got to hear from Tatum today, as we haven't really heard from him much this offseason. But that's what we're going to do and wrap it up for in this video for Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. If you have yet not subscribed, make sure to hit that big red button and get it to 100 subscribers. We're just so close, and we'd appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next video.